we fucking go! You're listening to Bread and Circuses.
Was like the mob media, for one, is the entire world populated. Like everybody's on Twitter. Fucking the UK is on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately.
With Caleb Salvatore.
Well, they can't go to the comedy shows because there's a 2-drink minimum, and you can't mix the Percocet you've been stealing from work with liquor.
And Nick Kohler.
There literally be people in the fucking 80s that didn't know that nutting in a girl would make her pregnant.
No one's asked that question. What did those families do to provoke Alex Jones like that?
You know what'll solve all of these racial police protests? A Pepsi.
What the fuck is up, friends? Welcome to Bread Circuses. I'm Caleb Salvatore.
And I am Nick Kohler. And today, let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. All right, this is probably the last show we'll do before Halloween, unless we sneak one more in. But
Halloween's Sunday, right?
Yeah, Halloween's a Sunday.
We might do a show on Sunday.
We might.
Maybe.
It'd have to be like in the afternoon.
I'm
going to be doing shit at night. But
I'll be taking my daughter out trick-or-treating, but that's later, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that won't be till later. But yeah, no, it's the last show before Halloween. You were just telling me before we started something about they put "Let's Go Brandon" as hate speech.
I think there needs to be some context to this because I'm not sure if everybody would know what that is, right?
I mean,
did we talk about that on the show when it happened at the NFL game?
No. So I think because people had been chanting "fuck Joe Biden" for like a couple weeks, and then some NASCAR race happened, and the girl was interviewing the guy that won. The guy that won's name was Brandon. So the crowd was chanting "fuck Joe Biden" like that. And the lady that's interviewing him goes, "You can hear the crowd, they're yelling, 'Let's go Brandon.'" And that's what it started from. And it's ever since then, it's just been nonstop. Like you see "Let's go Brandon" t-shirts. I've seen
I know, I literally
stickers.
I saw one on campus yesterday. It was fun. It was hilarious. I was like, oh my God.
Because you can't you get in trouble for obscenity. Like people ask you to leave the store if you have a shirt that says "fuck Joe Biden." So it's a way around it. And like everyone knows what it means, you know? And it's I saw someone went on a tirade. It was one of their pundits or whatever, the fucking Democratic Party ball washers about, oh, Joe Biden, or this is a product of the Trump era. It's classless, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how about instead of complaining about it, you try to figure out why stadiums full of people are chanting "fuck" and then your name. Like, why don't you figure out why so many people hate you, dude, instead of bitching about it? Like, so anyway, know, right? What were you? So that's what leads. Here's
the thing too. Is like, always have to preface this by saying I'm not a Trump fan, right?
Right.
But dude, remember some of the shit that fucking left-wing people would be saying about Joe?
What's her face? Like, shit about the decapitated the Trump dummy?
Yeah, dude, they'd be saying, well, I mean, I guess to be fair too, she did kind of like basically lose her job for that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying there were nothing happened for her. I'm just saying like there were plenty of people that were classless at Trump too. It's fucking...
Yeah, dude, there were people that saying shit about like his 12-year-old son and stuff, man. Like it'd be like,
I remember like not like just no names on Twitter, like legitimate like reporters and pundits and stuff. One of them tweeted that Barron Trump was a future school shooter. And I'm like, what the fuck? Kid's like 10. What the fuck is the matter with you?
It's just like a 10-year-old kid. Like,
right. Yeah. He can't help who his parents are.
Yeah. So, right. So I'm just like, anytime anybody's trying to like be all like, oh, poor Joe Biden is on the picture. I'm like, bro, like, ain't nobody out here fucking saying nearly half the shit about Biden that people would say about Trump and his family and his friends and his fucking people that like worked for his company. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's like, so, but what made me laugh is, and I'm trying to find this to make sure it's actually real, but apparently the ADL added that into like their database of like racist right-wing dog whistling or something like that, like which you know what like that term dog whistling is, right?
Yeah,
it's like saying something but it like means another. It's supposed to be
it's like it's like when you put like a Jewish person's name with parentheses around it. That kind
Yeah,
of
exactly. That's like anti-Semitic dog
like
whistling,
Mark
right?
Zuckerberg
Saying they with with the freaking parentheses
Yeah.
around it. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
dog whistling, right?
yeah. Let's go, Brandon. Joe Biden's a white guy. It's not racist. How is it racist? How is it racist for me as a white guy to say fuck another white guy? I thought that was acceptable based on everything I've heard. Well,
Well,
like I,
dude, it's that's the buzzword for now, and apparently if you're saying fuck Joe Biden, you just hate minorities, dude. You just fucking hate minorities. Like,
because there's
if you have any kind of dissent to a current left wing president, man, you just fucking hate minorities.
because no one represents minorities better than Joe Biden, 75-year-old white guy. Like that.
75-year-old rich career politician.
Yeah, exactly. Did you see the other? Well, so like the other day he was he was talking something about Amtrak or whatever, and he said 35 years ago when my wife died, I took Amtrak to work every day, or my wife and daughter died, I took Amtrak to work every day. Well, his daughter never died, and his wife was standing like 5 feet from him when he said that, and I'm just like, how many fucking idiotic gaffes is this guy gonna get away with before we're like, you know what, this dude has dementia. He probably shouldn't even be allowed to drive a car by himself, much less run the whole fucking country. And somebody has to step in and just declare him unfit. Like,
I mean, I don't know. It's really tough for me to like buy into that, like, oh, he's unfit thing. I mean, that to me is just like the right wing equivalent of like left wingers saying Trump had like a chode. You know what I mean? I'm just
I mean, Trump was nuts too. You could make an argument that he may not have been fit for the presidency, but like at least he doesn't say shit. Like at least Trump didn't like forget where he was and stuff like that. And they talk about how he's running for U.S. senator and shit like that. Dude, like what the fuck is the matter with you?
yeah. So like I say, I don't try not to buy into that. I think you know it too. It reminds me a lot of when like left-wing media, like left-wing corporate media would like take like really fucking bad pictures of Trump and like him going like, you know, and making stupid faces and like, but like Trump said fucking poopy doopy, like, you know what I mean? Like that's what that shit reminds me of. But yeah, man, the whole like the whole fact that like you can't like openly dissent, you know, have any dissent of him like you could Trump, dude. You could like, dude, if you fucking were like, dude, Trump is a bitch, you know, people would be like, yeah, woo. That's literally where the orange man bad phrase came from. Like
yeah, like I remember there were a bunch of songs called like fuck Donald Trump and stuff like that, and it's just like guys, you can't own being classless. Okay, that's fucking free space being classless. Okay, if you're gonna be an asshole about it, they get to be one too.
Exactly. And I've always said like I really wish people would just always give the same treatment to Biden like they did with Trump. They should hold them accountable for like literally everything. They shouldn't be able to fart without the news covering it and say that he, you know, almost crapped his pants.
Dear God, if they held Biden accountable for everything he did, there'd be a fucking revolution in this country. Like Jesus, like did you see they want to tax unrealized gains now?
I know. Like, dude, that's the thing is like when it comes to Congress, like that, there's always like these ridiculous ass propositions.
No, that's the head of the Fed said that.
Well, that shit'll come up, but like it's not going to go through. You know what I mean? For one, the Fed isn't even a government institution,
right? But when they have influence, when they push stuff, they can get it. They can get it through. My thing is, it reminds me of remember when they wanted to they tried to sneak it through a couple weeks ago that they'd monitor everyone's accounts with $600 in them.
Yeah, did that even get passed?
They cut it out. They changed it, so it's now if they will monitor everyone's account who receives $10,000 or more in deposits that weren't from direct deposit income, like employment income.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's income that wasn't claimed on your taxes, you know, is like with like what are they called? 1099 form? Is that what they are? The thing they send to you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the fuck it's called. You know what I'm talking about.
I think it is. I think it is 1099s. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's not on that, then they're not gonna. Then they'll start counting up to 10,000 and then they start monitoring the account. It's like some automatic alert. I don't know. It's not perfect, but it's certainly better than 600. Everyone with $600 gets their
$600 is fucking like
That's
ridiculous amount.
If
It's
you,
not a
dude,
lot
if,
of cash.
if
Like,
you have $600 in your bank account, you are struggling. Like that's like if you don't have anything, like if you have $600 in your bank account, you are not doing well. You know,
I
what
could
I
have
mean?
a friend give me like $800 for like reimbursing for like some like game tickets or something. You know what I mean? Like,
they wanted to. It wasn't $600 deposits. It was $600 in your entire account. So if you had $600 and you got a Venmo for like $20 for a pizza, they would want to come and fucking tax that as income. Like, even though you and your friend just split a pizza, and instead of giving you cash for it, they just Venmo'd you. Like, people don't. It's like when parents like clamp down on their kids and try to be super strict about it. Oh, I just lost my camera. There we go. When parents try to, I'm back. When parents try to like clamp down on their kids and be like really fucking strict and shit, and then the kids just find new ways to be sneaky, that's all that's going to happen. There would be new cryptocurrencies. People would deal more heavily in cash. People are just going to figure out a way to avoid you. They're not going to pay the stupid fucking taxes on it.
yeah, for real. I mean, I know, it's funny. I remember looking at the federal budget for 2020, like basically the year before the pandemic started and everything was kind of regular. And
what are you talking about? There's no pandemic. COVID's fake.
Yeah, right. Excuse me. Anyway, but I remember looking through this from like I don't know if it was the IRS website or like just some public website that showed like what percentage of like the federal budget goes to what, right?
Right.
You know what actually the most in the budget goes to? It's not even like the Department of Defense, which is a big chunk.
Yeah.
But you know where the most amount of the federal budget goes to?
Where?
It's fucking Social Security, man.
Oh,
It's
I
like
believe it.
51. Yeah. It's like
it's
over 50% goes to Social Security.
It's most of it. And here's the thing with taxing, circle back, as our brilliant fucking press secretary always says. Here's the thing with
here's the thing.
Social Security. Here's the thing. Inside joke. No, here's the thing with Social Security. That's a good point, because when they tax unrealized capital gains, so if you have a stock that makes $500 and then drops $400, you still get taxed for that $400 it dropped, even though you never cashed it out.
Exactly.
So that's how your 401k is going to get hit. They're going to start taxing the shit out of your 401k and draining your fucking retirement income before you have a chance to cash it out. And then guess what you're going to be hooked on? Social Security and the government's tit until you fucking die. Cradle to grave. It's fucking communism.
Here's the thing too about like the taxes on realized gains that what a lot of people don't realize is it's not as much the intent of that tax isn't necessarily to make money off of the stock market as much as it's designed to dissuade people from day trading.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because what that does is it creates a really volatile market, and that's not good for like foreign investments, not good for domestic investments, not good for the market for people to day trade. And if you don't know what day trading is, it's basically like during the middle of the day, you're just selling your stocks and rebuying other ones. And an hour later, you're doing that, and you're like
college kids do it on Robinhood all the time.
Exactly. What that does is when people start doing that with really large amounts of money in stock, it makes the market fucking go up and down and up and down. And a lot of people are doing it. And it makes the market really, really volatile. It's not good.
That's what makes me feel even more like this shit is just by design. I mean, you've got this shipping crisis. You've got fucking business. Like there's an employment crisis. No one's going to work. You've got fucking shortages in every store, inflation's raging, COVID's still a thing, and they're like, you know what this market needs is a little bit more instability. Like let's make people day trade.
I think the shortages and everything are more caused by is I think they're caused by like supply shortages, like from workers just not being able to work and like for raw materials.
There's that.
There's trucker shortages, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, the trucker shortage has been a problem for years. Like before this, like this is like my mom works in the trucking industry, and you could see this stuff coming for years.
That's why so many businesses, or there's like a lot of people out there trying to make it to where trucking is like controlled by AI. Like which I think is a noble endeavor. You know what I mean?
California also requires every box that comes in on a shipping port to be sanitized and wiped down. Even though we know COVID doesn't live on surfaces, and we've known that for the last year. They're requiring truckers to be vaccinated to come in and pick the shipments up, and like 3/4 of truckers are not vaccinated.
There's all sorts of stuff like that with like working in like meat packing plants. Like they can only have a certain number of workers in there and stuff. Like
it feels like
so
it's
any
by
kind
design, man. They're fucking shit by. It just feels like they're fucking everything up by on purpose to collapse it.
What like who gains from that? You know what I mean?
The commies.
I don't think the commies benefit from that. I don't
They
think anybody
do.
I don't think anybody benefits from like extreme supply shortages. And also I think I don't understand that. Like I would have to ask like my economist teacher, like because he's like a pretty well like learned guy about the economy, you know, he fucking PhD in like, economics type shit. Like
but he wouldn't stand a chance against an ANCAP on Reddit. Okay.
Yeah, right. No, this guy's actually really smart when it comes to the economy, and I've been asking him about this, and he's been constantly saying is like us in the economic community don't know 100% right now what's causing the shortages and what's causing inflation. Well, they say like we don't want to say, oh, it's 100% caused by the supply shortages. We don't want to say it's 100% caused by like government putting more money into the economy, because he's like we don't know. You know what I mean? You can't make like these assumptive like statements about that kind of shit without researching it into it, right?
Yeah.
But he has said that he personally thinks it has more to do with supply shortages or in the world economy than fucking like stimulus money making rapid inflation. You know what I mean?
I don't think I don't think that the stimulus money caused it. People getting $1,200 wasn't the issue. It's millions of dollars in fucking aid going to corporations and shit.
You think that would cause really bad inflation though? Like,
I mean, billions in aid. I mean, they're fucking printing money, and they had so much pork in those stimulus bills. If they just passed a bill, like, here's the thing, man. If they were to come out and just pass a bill and say every American over 18 will have $1,200 deposited to their bank account or sent to them via check, that would be a drop in the bucket. It wouldn't be that much. But the fucking billions of dollars that they were sending to fucking corporations and pork that they had for extra government spending and shit in those bills, that's what drove it up.
The problem when it comes to that though is that historically, right? Usually if there's inflation caused by like the central bank in a country just printing off more money like that, it usually is something that's like Venezuela, where it just leads to like fucking hyperinflation. You know what I mean? It's not like inflation like small scale like this generally isn't caused by like government interference. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like historically, like when you look at back at like any kind of inflation that's been caused by government printing money, it's been something that's led to hyperinflation. So,
and there are economists that are worried that's where we're heading. I mean, the issue with economists though is like they're always predicting that they've predicted 25 of the last 3 crashes. You know what I mean? Like it's always, they keep saying it's gonna crash, and then when it crashes, it's like, well, I fucking told you, but they've been wrong 17 other times.
And the funny thing about the one that happened in 2009 is like literally everybody that had anything to do with mortgage, like looking at like the numbers and books for that, would like knew that shit was coming. Like, I've read so many things like around the internet and like in magazine articles and shit on Forbes, where like people are just like, dude, it was so obvious that shit was gonna crash. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I think the big problem with the economists too is the same thing with the medical community, where especially with this pandemic, is that like if you just try to be like, oh, this economist said this, it's like, well, there's economists out there that don't agree with that. You know what I mean? And like, what makes your economist that's saying your point more valid than the other economist that doesn't believe that? You know what I mean? Like that's the same with COVID. There were people out there that, especially when it first started, people in the medical community that were like were using like a lot of evidence based to make this argument that China manufactured the virus. And then there was all these people in the medical community too that were also like, no, it had to be caused from eating bats and all that shit. You know what I mean? And like the people like didn't agree to it, but the people that were loudest about trying to push their agenda about what caused it and like what we should do about it and everything basically just cited the doctors that, you know, supported their fucking viewpoints.
It's confirmation bias, man. People they search keywords. They don't search for the issue. They search for keywords. They want, because it's all about winning.
I think it's also an appeal to authority bias, because it's like, if you know what I mean, if like you're saying some bullshit, but you're like, but this doctor says
Yeah.
bullshit too. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
You're like, oh, well, okay, I guess you're right then, because he's a doctor, right?
Well, and that's the thing, man, is people get so deep into shit that they're willing to lie and make stuff up and use phony sources to defend their point because it's just about winning and beating the other team. It's like I play poker with a guy, and I'm not going to drop his name. I don't want to embarrass him, but I play poker with a guy that'll go deep into a fucking hand with you. He's got a pair of eights, and he's looking at the fold, and he sees the river comes down, and he knows you got a full house, and you fucking call this cocksucker all in. And he knows that he's done. He knows he's done, but he refuses to admit he's wrong and calls you and fucking loses the hand miserably, trying to take you to task on a pair of eights, and he loses. And that's what it reminds me of, is people just refuse to admit when they're wrong. It's like, cut your losses and fucking move on. And people won't do that. They'll look up these fucking ridiculous articles from years and years ago and shit like that just to prove they're right. And they'll make up lies, and they know no bounds. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely it's just like a matter of just like people just don't want to be wrong, like you said. So they'll just for it, it's weird for me too, to like, especially in the medical field, because like people will try to base like their like stuff that they say off of like really bogus research. Like what's one of the biggest things they tell you in like fucking sixth grade like science class, that causation is not correlation is not causation. Yeah, dude, there's so many medical studies out there that basically will just like, you know, it'll go to some fucking medical journal where it'll be like, fucking science found that people that eat grapes don't have cancer. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. And then you find like I think it's most prevalent in like cancer research. You're like, coffee causes cancer. Now coffee prevents cancer.
Is the worst, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's like our survey of 93 people found that 48 of them that drank 3 cups of coffee a day were 51% more likely to get cancer. I'm like, what?
Yeah, dude.
And then another one comes out the next day saying that coffee prevents. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking. It's so ridiculous. It is.
Now let's apply that to now let's apply to that to all the points that the governments are basing their fucking their policies over about this virus research.
Oh,
you know
Jesus
what I mean?
Christ.
I like to go back to what you said about California about like scrubbing the fucking the boxes and stuff. Yeah, dude, like it's even like wearing the masks outside during the day. Like it was proven very early on that sunlight killed the virus.
Right.
So like, yeah, like, and then the governments would be like, oh, like, or even like fucking businesses and shit would be like, oh, if you're going to do this outside fucking, I don't know, like vaccine, even like getting the vaccines outside, you know what I mean? Oh, you still got to wear a mask. And you're like,
yeah,
there's about that, man. Like,
there's a picture of a lady on a ski lift in the mountains by herself wearing a mask. I'm like, who's gonna give you COVID up there? What are you worried about? Like, it's like you're way more likely to just fall and die than get COVID there.
I'm not like all crazy about I'm not even just gonna say crazy, but like I'm not a big mask hater like I know a lot of people are.
I don't hate masks. I'll wear them if places are actually enforcing it. I don't want to be a douchebag.
I'll like wear it inside and just be like, you know, half because I don't want people to bitch about it, and half because I'm like, well, you know, it's not that big a deal to wear a mask, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if I'm walking around like outside on campus or shit, I'm like, even in the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, as soon as they said sunlight kills it, like, nah, I'm not wearing my mask outside. That's fucking stupid.
No, it's dumb as hell. I guess I'm a little bit more anti-mask. I even when masks were like mandated, like I never wore one outside. Even when masks were mandated and shit, I would still, like, if the place wasn't enforcing it, if I saw other people, I wasn't gonna wear it. Like there are a bunch of bars and restaurants that didn't fucking care. I wasn't gonna wear it. If places do, I'll be cool about it. Like you're just a fucking minimum wage employee. I don't give a shit, dude. Like you're fucking making $10 an hour. That's not enough for me to bitch at you about wearing a mask. Now, if someone gets in my face about it, like the douchebag in Vegas, I'll have no problem being a fucking douchebag about it. Like I'll fucking escalate things and you can fuck off, dude, because it's not that deep. But
I've never been one to be like oh, I don't want to wear the mask because I don't think it does anything.
I
Even if
don't
it
care
does
about
just
that.
even if it just does just a little bit. And my thing is like I'm willing to accept that risk to like be
Yeah.
comfortable. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
especially if I'm like at a bar or something.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to accept that risk of getting it. And I fucking got it too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Well,
Like
like
and yeah.
the thing with there's lots of stuff that we do. It's like even if the mask is like 5% more protection, you know what? How many of you motherfuckers drink Diet Coke? Like all this shit you do destroys your body and creates a risk to you, and you're fine with that risk. It's the risk of wearing a mask versus looking like a fucking retard and being uncomfortable.
For me it's like it's a fucking like comfort thing, man. It's like, dude, especially here in El Paso, like the air is kind of thin, right?
I wear
I'm
glasses,
walking around.
man. I
Yeah,
can't
dude,
see.
why wear my sunglasses? And dude, the bitches fog up right away. I'm like, I don't want to deal with that, man.
No.
Like, especially like I'm walking around on campus. I'm walking upstairs all the time. I don't know what it is with UTEP. The campus is built into a mountain, so like it feels like no matter what.
Cool, actually.
Well, it's cool, but like until you realize like no matter what direction you're walking, like somehow you're walking uphill the whole time. So you're like, dude, you fucking are like breathing hard. You're wearing a mask. You're like, damn, man, like
fuck that.
that's fucking rough. Like,
well, like my gym tried to enforce masks when the pandemic first started, and they were like, we're requiring masks. I'm like, fuck you, I'm freezing my membership. And they're like, why? And I'm like, well, I called them like, I'm freezing my membership. And they're like, why do you want to do it? I'm like, I'm not wearing a mask to work out. That's idiotic. Like I'll work out at home. Fuck off. And then I get a text like 3 days later, and they're like, clarification, we are not requiring masks to work out, just in the locker room and in passing. I'm like, yeah, you caved because everyone froze their membership. That's what happened. Like
my dude, I was like wearing the mask in the airport, like walking around with my kid. Like, dude, my kid's like 30 pounds. I was carrying that plus my luggage and like her fucking diaper bag and shit. Dude, by the time I got done, like boarded the plane after carrying her and chasing her around the airport and carrying, like walking halfway across the airport to like get to like my connecting flight and stuff, my face was literally like soaking wet
from
like
gas, dude.
Condensation and like my sweat and stuff. So
it makes it harder. Here, dude, it's the people that want to talk about science. If the mask protects you or protects others, that means by default that it traps some of the oxygen in and prevents some of the oxygen from coming in. So it makes it harder to breathe. So you see these people, oh, I ran a marathon with a mask on. Congratulations, you're in freakish shape. What do you want me to say? Like most people can't do that. Like you probably could have run 2 marathons without one, is what that means. Like
it's manipulation of data. It's like, yeah, they say like, oh, it protects you, but it's like, okay, well, if it only provides like what 10% protection against it, it's like, dude, I got COVID wearing my mask all the time out in public. So like clearly it didn't help. Yeah. Didn't really help.
Well, see, that's the thing is people like that move the goalposts because they say, well, it just must have been because someone else wasn't wearing a mask around you. I'm like, well, you know, at that point, it just becomes a waste of time to argue with those people. Like, because you cannot lose if you have both end zones. Like,
yeah, I'm just like, for me, like to sum it all up, it's accepted risk. Like, okay, fair enough. If the mask protects you in certain cases, fine. I'm okay with not being protected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. Like I got the shot against my better will. It is what it is. Or against my better judgment, excuse me. It is what it is. I kind of regret getting it now. But like it
I don't regret it because I'm like, it's just a shot. Like I've had worse things in my body. So like
my body, and you know, that was part of my processing was my body's basically been a science experiment with some of the stuff that's gone into it.
Yeah.
Stuff you've been present for and stuff you haven't been. But,
exactly.
But like my thing is like, I just like, I got the shot. I take vitamin D, vitamin C, magnesium, B12. I take all that shit every fucking day. Right. I exercise daily. If COVID's gonna if the mask was the difference in me getting COVID and getting really sick or dying or not, so I'm willing to run with those risks, man.
Yeah, that's another reason why
I'm 25 years old. Like
that's another reason why I've been so like not give a fuck about the masks for the past few while now is because of the vaccine. I'm just
you got natural antibodies too, man.
Yeah, I got the vaccine after getting COVID. Like the first shot gave me fucked up, but the second shot didn't do nothing to me.
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude.
So like, I'm just like, you know, at this point now, I got the vaccine. Like, if I get sick again, then whatever, man, and I'll be all right.
The first shot didn't do anything to me. The second shot made me feel like my back was just sore.
Really?
It was weird. Like I woke up and I felt like I did the day after I got in that accident. It was fucking weird. I wasn't sick. I wasn't like running a fever, chills, or anything like everybody else seemed to get. But I was really sore in my back. Like, so I don't know. Like I got like part of the reason
that's
got
one
it
of
was,
the that's one of the things about COVID is that's really why another reason why I fucking will die on the hill that it was invented in that Wuhan lab.
I thought that was pretty much an accepted fact as a matter of record now.
Exactly, right. But like is the thing that makes it so different than a lot of other fucking viruses. Yeah, I did call that right at the fucking beginning, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, fuck China. Anyway, my social credit score. Boom.
Yeah, your social credit score just went down like 17 points.
Yeah, I'm not getting a loan at all in China. But no, like the thing that makes it crazy is that it's really good at changing itself to infect other types of tissues.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why like some people get really bad diarrhea when they have COVID, and some people get really bad headaches, and some people get like soreness, you know what I mean? Like for me, it just made my lungs like hurt, or like my lungs like it affected my lungs the worst. But like I've read some people, they get the shits really bad, or like they get really bad muscle aches and stuff like that. It's like typically viruses are only specialized at affecting one kind of tissue, because like your tissue in your lungs and your muscle tissues are way fucking different.
It gave my dad pink eye.
Your dad pink eye? The vaccine or
the virus? The virus gave my dad pink eye. I don't know what his doctor said. It was something about like it was because my dad went to a party months ago, like in December, I think.
And your dad wasn't washing his hands.
Every single person at that party wound up getting COVID.
Yeah, that's funny. COVID party, dude.
And I know. And it caused like pink eye or something like that. And like it's like, I swear to you, my behavior throughout the entire pandemic, I should have gotten COVID. I gave no fucks. The second the bars were back open, I was out at the bars. I was out doing shows. I never stopped. I never wore a fucking mask, dude. Like, unless it was required. I was one of the last people to get vaccinated, like I should have gotten COVID, but I never did. Like when my dad
opposite. I'm like the complete opposite, dude. I got it after being like the most careful I could possibly be.
You had a baby and a senior citizen in your house. You had to be. So
dude.
I had like people I know that fucking locked down and everything, double masked. They had all their groceries got delivered to them. They somehow wound up getting it. I never did. Like now Mia got it, but Mia got it from work. So like it's not.
She never gave it to you.
Never gave it to me. Living with me in the same house, never gave it to me. Like,
that was the same with Anna.
In the same bed. Yeah,
that's the same with Anna. Like me, and then my kid were the only two that got it. And we both have A positive blood. I think it's
got to be something to do with the blood type, and like
either that or like it's like hyper specialized for like blood type or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe somebody who has the same blood type, because don't you have like O negative blood or something like that?
I know I've got the blood type that they're saying it seems to be more resistant to COVID. That's all I know. I don't remember what it's called, but I know that's the one I got. And because I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's me. But like, dude, my dad, when he got COVID, I went and because I have the same blood type as my mom. My brother has the same blood type as my dad. My brother and my dad both got it. My mom and I never got it. My mom also didn't care. And like, I took groceries to my dad's apartment, like while he had COVID, and like, he opened the door and talked to me through the hallway. COVID positive. Like, I wasn't wearing a mask. Should have gotten it there. Never got it. Like,
I didn't even know if I had COVID until like a month after I got fucking over it. You know what I mean?
You could have been out just exposing everybody, just slaying old people, man.
Especially in my house. There was a lot of people coming and going in that house. And only me and I think my kid were the only two that got it. So,
but that's like I truly have no idea how I've made it this far. That's like, I love, like, I'll fucking troll people on like Facebook comments and stuff, and they're like, they'll tag me in that tag group about like Darwinism and COVID or whatever. It's like, saving this profile for 3 months when he dies of COVID. I'm like, good fucking luck, dude. I've been exposed more than anybody I know, and I've never gotten it. Like either it's
I'm
saving
sure,
a big
I
one
mean,
for
dude,
me.
I'm sure. I don't know, man. Like you,
I may have been asymptomatic. I only got tested once.
yeah. I'm sure if you get it, man. Like I don't know.
I'll be
I
fine.
never want to be. Well, I never want to be like, oh, you'll probably be fine. Because we've had friends that got really fucked up by it. Like, you
Yeah,
know
but
what I
I
mean?
mean, you got to look like with Lavetti, and we've talked about Lavetti some cool. I mean, like Lavetti was diabetic. You know, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, that's a high risk factor. That it's shitty, but that's
Plus, he
what it
was
is.
probably vitamin D deficient too.
Most
And
people are,
well, not
especially
even
most
Lavetti
black people,
alone.
because their skin. It's not racist. Darker skin, it's harder for it to absorb vitamin D, so they have to take. Yeah, they have to
It's
take
the whole point of melanin. Like,
yeah, it's harder to absorb vitamin D for people with darker skin. So, I mean, of course he's going to be vitamin D deficient. That's just fucking biology. Like,
yeah.
you know, so it's, you know, and he, at the end of the day, that's what it was. And he lives, and I'm super glad he's doing a lot better. He almost fucking died again, dude. He got in a car.
Yeah, he
accident.
got in a car wreck, dude. That guy's got a fucking Final Destination shit.
Final Destination go. And he had that like fridge almost fell on him at work or something.
Yeah,
like
dude. He's fucking cursed, man.
That
happened after he survived COVID.
Like if the next time he asked me to work with him on a show, I'm gonna be like, you know, I think I'm good, man.
I'm gonna stand away from him.
Yeah, like
I had another friend, my one friend Tony up there in Omaha, who's the police guy. Yeah, dude, he was on a ventilator for 2 weeks.
He was on our show. Yeah.
Yeah. He was on a ventilator for 2 weeks. I mean, he's fine now, but like, yeah, dude, he fucking was in a real rough shape for a while there. Plus, Tibbs died up it early on too up there. Plus, his mom did. So it's
Carlos
like,
Tibbs.
Yeah, but those are all people with darker skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, again, not to be a douche, don't fucking throw shit at me, dude. Tibbs was like 400 pounds.
Well, yeah,
that had more to do with it than his skin color. It's with Lavetti, diabetics had more to do with it than skin tone. But skin tone did play a role. I mean, that's if you have darker skin and you listen to the show, get a fucking vitamin D supplement, dude. They're like $10 at Hy-Vee.
The thing with Tony though was Tony wasn't really like that overweight. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't even know if he was technically overweight or not, because I remember he lost a bunch of weight doing some diet exercise program thing with this
keto
guy. No, he did this one guy like trainer thing. Like he lost a lot of weight. He was doing good.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like Tony wasn't like a fucking over 400-pound diabetic guy. You know what I mean?
No.
He's just like a regular fucking guy. But
yeah,
it seems like the common denominator between all those is they're all darker skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I also know white people that have been fucked up by it too. You know, like it doesn't. I mean, you got fucked up. I
know for a fact I was not vitamin D deficient when I got it.
You got fucked 100%. Up by it. Most Americans are, because most Americans work inside.
But yeah, we were stuck inside, dude. Like if I went outside, I'm definitely not vitamin D deficient now. I got a ton of sunlight and I take vitamin D now.
I take vitamin D and I'm on all that shit, dude. As soon
I
as
feel
that
way
started,
better than I did too, by the way.
Yep. And I work out daily now, and I definitely wasn't doing that. And I'm very confident that if I were to contract COVID, given all of the factors plus being vaccinated, I think I'd be okay. I can say with 99.99% certainty that I would be fine. The only concern, and I got a flu shot for this reason, because the only concern I would have would be I would get the fucking flu, get over that, and then like a week later get COVID while my immune system was still recovering. Because that happened to me. I had bronchitis, and then a week went by, and then I got the fucking flu, and the flu almost sent me to the ER, man, because my immune system was
viral. You had like viral bronchitis,
turned into like pneumonia, and then and then I got the flu 2 weeks later, a week and a half later, and so that's why I got a flu shot, because I'm like, that's the only chance I'd give it. In a bout with COVID, that's the only shot I'd give it, was if I got like fucked up by the flu, and then I got COVID while my immune system was still recovering. That's the only chance I'd give it. But other than that, I ain't worried about it. Fucking brain.
I've had pneumoniya too before. Pneumonia fucking sucks, man. I would not recommend anybody.
No, if you can avoid it, do not get pneumonia. That's a recommendation. Yes. So speaking of diseases, we gotta fucking get some shit like this. Fucking political correctness nonsense facing this city's comedy scene right now knows no bounds, and it has to be stopped. Like, and it's Omaha, I'm tuning out. No, like, I know we got national listeners, but if it's happening here, it's happening everywhere. It just happens to be this city that I'm
sure it's happening down here too, man.
Dude,
like
it's the Chappelle thing has just created this rift. of, I mean, you have people that, and it's not right versus left. That's what I want to make it clear. Like, obviously, you know which side of this I'm on, right? There are people like that I know that are like politically left leaning or left wing flat out, but are on this side, right? There's free speech, people who are pro free speech and creativity on one side, and then cock smoking retards on the other side. And that's as nice as I can put it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing people get canceled, get blacklisted from fucking venues. I'm not name dropping. I'm close to dropping names. Nobody better fucking test me, or I'm gonna start dropping names about some nasty shit that I know some of y'all have done that probably could get your asses thrown in jail. But don't worry about that. I know people for a fucking fact are going around spreading rumors about people while they're on stage, telling the audience not to cheer for them because they're transphobic, and telling people not to book, calling fucking venues, trying to get them kicked off shows and banned from venues because they dared to stick up for Dave Chappelle's special on Facebook. I'm fucking warning you, man. If somebody fucking comes after me, I got a dead man switch. I got so many fucking bombs. I'm gonna start ruining reputations in the city. I just lost, the camera knows. I just lost my video. It's like, stop it! Don't say the name.
It's like oh shit.
I swear to God, the second my fucking name gets dropped, I'm fucking ruining reputations, and I got the fucking receipts to prove it. Do not, if you open up the can of worms, get ready for the dirt that's with it. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I'm fucking,
and it's so fucking sad that, like, especially even in comedian circles, right, that you have to have a fucking nuclear deterrent, like a Cold War.
Yeah,
that's so sad, dude. Like,
mutually assured destruction. Yeah, that's
sad.
The dude. And that's all I'll say is that the people that are pretending to be the biggest allies and they're, oh, we're all victims, we're under attack. Y'all are some of the biggest motherfucking predators I have ever had the displeasure of meeting in my life. And like, I will be more than happy to drop names if I am ever mentioned in any of this shit. Don't fucking think I won't do it on the show because I don't want to include you on it. But I will go on stage and start accusing people of things that I know for a fact they've done. So like, that just don't fuck with me, man. Like, I really don't want to take it to a nasty place, but I can and I will do it if anyone wants to. Like,
I mean, dude, calling venues to try to like cancel people over shit.
Ridiculous.
Like, here's like, dude, canceling people over defending fucking Dave Chappelle on a comedy special.
Yeah,
fucking lame. Canceling should be like trying to cancel fucking R. Kelly from shows for raping kids.
Right. That's like, my thing. Is like, there's a guy that fucking, like, there's a fine line of what you should be canceled for. I mean, we've talked about him on the show before. There's a guy in the scene that he's been convicted of child sex trafficking. Obviously, that's someone I'd never want to associate myself with because that's a real life consequence. Fucking jokes are not real life consequences. You know, if someone goes out and makes a joke that's a little offensive or edgy, there's no real life consequence. If someone gets upset and, you know, like, slits their wrists because of that, or goes out and binge drinks and takes some pills because they heard a joke that offended them, they chose to make that a real life consequence. The girl that dude sex trafficked did not choose to make that a real life consequence. She got fucking abducted and trafficked by a predator that took advantage of her.
It's because it's cool to be a victim, dude. Like, people like to be victims because they can fucking get sympathy, man. That's why.
Yeah, that's exactly it. When you have a choice in the matter, it's not a real life consequence. It's a fucking joke. Like, that, at the end of the day, anyone could kill themselves over any joke, man. Like, it's,
people would kill themselves over more than just jokes. Like,
like,
I mean, like, imagine if like some fucking really loud minority on I'd say Twitter, the fucking cesspool, because this is where this shit comes from. Yeah, I'm just like, imagine like a fucking 20 people on there, which was just 2 people with fucking bot accounts.
Right.
Said something about like polo shirts were fucking offensive and made
a sign of white supremacy.
There's some dumb shit, you know what I mean? I think people just really need to like be comfortable with like not giving a shit like people like have a problem with them. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like,
I was talking to Zach Bravietti on Saturday or the other day about a costume for a costume show, because we talked about how I copped the ban for the Aaron Hernandez costume from a certain venue that won't be named on here a year ago. And I'm like, do you think this would be too far? Do you think this is gonna be banned? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, hold on, pause. Like, the fact that we're even having a discussion about a fucking joke or a costume about Gabby Petito getting someone banned from a venue is just evidence of what a dark place this art form is in right now. Like the fact that that's even on the table, that you could get banned from a venue. And I'm not talking like going full Kramer. I'm talking a stupid joke. Like the fact that you could get, it's such a
Kramer
dark
didn't
place.
tell a joke. That shit he got banned
No,
from wasn't
the
telling
Kramer
a
thing.
joke.
Yeah, the Kramer thing again. I mean, that's real life shit, right? I mean, that's fucking pure racism coming out. It's not a joke. It wasn't said. It's clearly it was said in a hateful manner. You can tell when people say shit in a hateful manner. Like, and that's my thing. That's where I'm just so fucking over it. And I took a couple weeks where I didn't take a break from comedy. I took a break from the comedy scene because like I was still doing my shows. I was still hosting my open mic, but I wasn't going to there was by no means was I going to associate with a lot of the people that I didn't want to see. And I took the break and then I came back and it's just the same fucking thing. And I'm like, man, like I kind of just want to like chill with my dog and not deal with these assholes. You know what I mean? But like at the same time, it's like you can't let them win. Your solution, like we talked about a female comic that stormed off because female comics don't get booked. And I'm like, your solution to not having enough representation can't be removing yourself and one more person that represents you. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't just let them win and back off. And plus I love comedy. I like fucking telling jokes and shit. I hate the politics. I hate the, as I call them, cock smoking retards. So like, you know, so I don't
be
know.
like that. Yeah. Dude, my fucking career field is human resources, man. I fucking get it.
You're gonna have lots of fun.
Oh god, from working customer service, I'm good with the mask, man. I just keep to myself, be quiet.
See, I'm gonna find out when you get like a job in human resources. I am going to find out the company and I'm gonna start like doxing problematic tweets and just make your life a living hell.
The good thing though is that the good thing is though is for me to good.
I'm sending them to you.
That'll be job security. Man.
Yeah, no shit. Right?
I don't have a Twitter, so like I'll be fine.
But
so yeah,
I don't know. It's just if you're not on Twitter, don't get on it. It's a cesspool. It really is.
My life is way better for not having a Twitter. I will personally say, like, I'm very glad I don't have a Twitter, man.
Dude, Twitter is just like
hot garbage.
It is, man. Like it gives the most extreme people the voices and makes it seem like that's the majority. And it's such a small minority of people. Like you said, like it gives the loud, obnoxious assholes just fucking unfettered free, like, and not free speech, but like unfettered power. And they feel more important than they are. And it's just like, what are we doing here, man? Like,
people just don't have the power to associate, like, people just don't have like the mental capacity to just be like, this guy's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing is like you get 20 people, you can have a group of 20 people and that's all. You only have influence over 20 people. But if you get all 20 of those people to call someone's job or college or whatever, that fucking corporation or university or whatever is going to freak out and be, holy shit, I said 20 people call complaining, even though those are the only 20 people on this earth that either A, knew about it or B, were offended by it. That's going to be enough to make an actual change and really fuck somebody up. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is the more power we give to these fucking losers, like every time you give these people an inch, they take a mile, man. Like if they had their way, if they were fully in charge, do not think for a minute that not only would they have you taken, your job taken from you and whatever else, and your income and your ability to provide for your family for making a joke that offended them, they would have you arrested in a heartbeat for making jokes that offend. Like if some of these people had their way, Dave Chappelle would be arrested for his special. Don't fucking doubt that. That is a fact. That's not a theory. That's not up for debate. If a lot of these people that are raising hell had their way in their ideal country, Dave Chappelle would have been arrested for dropping that special.
The LGBT community has become a fucking protected class, man. They're a protected class of people.
Tim Dillon said it best. Tim Dillon said, I'm not gay. I just have sex with men. He's like, being gay, being bi, being trans, lesbian, whatever. It's not enough to just do that. Like, it's a fucking movement. He's like, I might as well just be a straight white Nazi being a gay man. He's like, because it's not enough to just have sex with men and date men and marry men. He's like, I have to like dye my hair pink and go out and burn down a Starbucks. Who's
the one gay dude that we went and saw at,
Dave Rubin.
Yeah, Dave Rubin's a good example of that, man. He's like basically like a very centrist, like gay guy, but like, you know,
Dave Rubin's kind of become like a right-wing grifter though.
I don't know, man. Right-wing grifters to me are people like Alex Jones.
Well, see that Candace Owens is another example, I think.
Yeah, I think Candace Owens, like for me, somebody who's like right-wing or left-wing, or somebody that will take that stance on like every fucking type of fucking stance you can take for it without basing it on logic, just based on like fucking their feelings about it.
Hold the party line kind of thing.
Exactly.
I don't even know if could you consider Alex Jones a right-wing I mean, like, who are the grifters on the right and left? Like, you got like Chank's got to be a left-wing grifter, right?
Yeah, somebody like the fucking Daily Show type guys, like fucking Colbert.
Colbert is a grifter, yeah.
I'm not even gonna say Jon Stewart though, because Jon Stewart's like that old school like left wing guy that's
Bill Maher's the same way. I really like
Bill Maher is kind of annoying.
I like him. I think he's good.
He was one of those Orange Man bad guys, and like
those
guys are just
better though.
Yeah, maybe because enough people call him a fucking dumbass for it, and I think Bill Maher very much likes his image of not being a dumbass.
Yeah,
I think enough people called him a dumbass where he's like, all right, man, I better chill with
when you look at these like Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, guys like that, they have no depth. But like I've watched podcasts and interviews with Bill Maher. Bill Maher actually has depth and things about Bill Maher, Jon Stewart, guys like that. They're like the leftists that I'm cool with. I'm like, you know what? We got different views politically, but you don't think that on some things at least, but you don't think that I should be unable to provide for my family or locked in a gulag or whatever, because I think differently than you. You believe in free speech. You believe in, like you believe that we can have different opinions and sit down and talk about it and not just be fucking hostile. That's the kind I'm cool with that kind of leftist.
To me, they're the I'm trying to think of the word for it, the non-status quo type, like whatever word that is. I'm trying to think of like the non-binary. Like the non-status quo leftists, like the guys that like back in the day were like really opposed to the fucking Iraq war and we're like always fucking shitting on the Bush administration or like Abu Ghraib and type shit. Those were the left-wing guys that were like non-fucking like anti-establishment type shit.
The leftists that were fighting for fucking gay marriage and marijuana, and they were against like the parental advisory censorship with music and comedy. Those were the leftists that were the left used to be cool, man.
That used to be the anti-establishment. That used to be anti-establishment, and that's not the establishment anymore. That's like the left wing is now like the protection of like minority classes against any kind of criticism and like the full on like just illogical attack of anything that doesn't support that fucking
full-blown communism.
That type of fucking like thought process, that's like the mainstream now, man. That's like the status quo, and like there's not a lot of left-wing guys that are out there anymore that are like that. There's some of them, but like the problem is that those guys are called right wingers by the fucking left wing guys, and it's like they're not fucking right wing. Like
through polarization, they've pushed further to the left.
Look somebody like Tim Pool, dude. They call that guy a right wing guy, and like, dude, that guy was like a fucking
Andy No,
those guys were like on the fucking thing with the Wall Street shit back in like 10 years. They were like the big Occupy Wall Street guys 10 years ago. Man, those guys were considered like left-wing fucking radical hippies back in the day.
Right. And when you use the term grifter, like Chank used to be like the middle of the road moderate kind of like joking like news source, and they would just read the news and whatever. And the further left his audience got, the further left he got. And that's like, because it used to like the Young Turks, like I remember watching the Young Turks like in like late like early high school, and it was like they were a little bit to the left, but for the most part they would just report the fucking news, and I appreciated that. And now we've seen no like left-wing Alex Jones basically is what he's become. And and I watched InfoWars too, don't get me wrong, but there was
I only saw clips of InfoWars because I thought it was a joke. Like, I know it wasn't a joke, but it was funny. Like I treated it like it was a joke.
Well,
like
there's a show now with his name's Sagar and Crystal Ball is her name. What's it called? They'll actually report the news. If you legitimately want. Okay, so Breaking Points with Crystal and Sagar is
I've heard of that before.
Yep. They've been on Rogan, and then that's a podcast you can follow. And then if you want legitimate, like I'm serious, unbiased news, like it gives you the facts and there's no spin whatsoever, and they'll give you legitimate news. It's a Roca News. It's on Instagram. It's at Ride the News, and it's a private account because a lot of people want it fucking shut down for that reason, that it's not biased. So you can follow that at Ride. Oh no, maybe they opened it up now. They've got like millions of followers. I was following them when they had like 10,000.
There's another left-wing news source. It's on YouTube. I'm trying the something show. I forget what, the Jimmy Dore show. Jimmy Dore show is like,
oh, he's not bad either. Yeah.
I mean, he's a left-wing guy, but like he's the kind of guy that's just like calling out the bullshit of like the establishment politics, you know what I mean? Like he'll talk shit on fucking the Trump administration as much. Like he was the one, they were doing really good reporting on when they were trying to fucking proxy war, or they were trying to false flag us into Iran. Like 3 years ago, you remember that?
Yep.
Not a lot of people remember that, right?
Yep, I remember.
But yeah, they were like reporting against that, and now they're like reporting on dumb shit that the Biden administration does, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm like,
yeah, no, there's legitimate, there's 3 legitimate news sources out there you guys can listen to, or talk shows, whatever. But I think we should probably end it. We just did like an hour. So
yeah.
This Friday, Night of the Laughing Dead, Wired Pub, $8 at the door. We are on the next live comedy show. We'll have a promo code you can use if you listen to this podcast to get into our next show for free, or not free, for cheaper, for a couple bucks off. So we'll have that on there. I'm going to get that set up. But do you have anything?
I'm going to be at a costume contest and UTEP if you're going to be around there on Friday. So
go vote for him. I'll kill you.
Look for the zombie from HR costume if you want to vote for me to win that shit. I'm doing it for my student organization to get like some points with them. So
see our show at Wired on Friday at 9 Central for $8 cash. If you guys want to come in, it's a costume contest. So I'm going to be going as Fred Durst from Lollapalooza, the dad vibe thing.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, that's the big one. I'm not going to drop the name. It's whatever. The place that banned me for my costume a year ago, I'm going as Alec Baldwin.
Goes Alec Baldwin and like bring like a prop gun and just I started blasting.
I'm do the gray wig, handcuffs, and teardrop tattoo.
That's funny.
We're like
that Alec Baldwin shit is so fucking funny to me, dude.
Dude, we blasted me.
Oh, you know what? That's something that happened that we didn't cover this week.
We can talk about it. We'll probably do one on Halloween, so we'll talk about it then. So like Halloween.
It's more of the investigation shit and that happens.
Yeah, we'll let more.
The first thing I said when that happened was like, you should have cleared the gun, man.
Yep. I really think that movie's gonna blow me away though. So we'll see. All right.
I think it's gonna be a real shot in the heart.
All right, let's wrap it up. This has been Bread Circuses. I'm Caleb Salvatore.
Nicole Arduces, y'all.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Like I said, heed the warning. Keep my name out of your fucking mouth. You know who I'm talking to. Peace the fuck out.
See ya.